Hey, how's it going? I'm Ron.
I'm Zach.
We're from Widetrack. We're here on Influences. And this week, we want to talk about a book that we both thoroughly enjoy, an old classic called The Prophet. This book is from 1923, written by a man named Kahlil Gibran. I am not positive that's the way it's spelled, but I believe...
But are we really sure of anything?
Yeah, right. This book is a semi-fictional account of some non-fictional nuggets of wisdom, and it's as profound a wisdom as you'll find.
It's very highly rated by many critics for good reason.
Throughout the ages it has endured, and to this day it's
Perhaps
just as relevant.
It remains even more relevant.
Indeed. So we've kind of picked out a few little excerpts from the book. Basically the idea of the book is that there's a man living in a land, and he's known as the prophet, the wise man of this land.
And he's going to be leaving the land, and the people in it are pretty sad.
So they gather around him and they ask him to speak to us of, and each chapter is a subject, and so he speaks of these different subjects to all the people before he leaves. So Zach's going to read just a couple good little parts here.
Alright, the very first one off, we're starting it off in a very light note. If you were happy today, you're about to get happier. If you were sad today, you're going to be happy with this. Pain. And a woman spoke, saying, "Tell us of pain." And he said, "Your pain is the breaking of the shell that endoses your understanding, even as the stone of the fruit must break, that its heart may stand in the sun, so must you know pain. And could you keep your heart in wonder at the daily miracles of your life, your pain would not seem less wondrous than your joy, and you would accept the seasons of your heart even as you have always accepted the seasons that pass over your fields. And you would watch the serenity through the winters of your grief. Much of your pain is self-chosen. It is the bitter potion by which the physician within you heals your sick self. Therefore, trust the physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility. For his hand, though heavy and hard, is guided by the tender hand of the unseen, and the cup brings, though it burns your lips, and the cup he brings, though it burns your lips, has been fashioned of the clay which the potter had moistened his own sacred tears."
That's interesting that there's a line, much of your pain is self-chosen. That is directly Lane Staley from Alice in Chains, when he collaborated with the members of Pearl Jam and formed a band called Mad Season. They have a song called The River of Deceit, and the opening line of that song is, "My pain is self-chosen." I believe it says, at least that's what So the Prophet says, and he's talking about that. He's talking about that specific passage right there. It's good stuff. You got another one?
Have I got another one? This next one is on self-knowledge. And a man said, "Speak to us of self-knowledge." And he answered, saying, "Your hearts know in silence the secrets of the days and the nights, but your ears thirst for the sound of your heart's knowledge. You would know in words that which you have always known in thought. You would touch with your fingers the naked body of your dreams, and it is well you should. The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs wow, this is beyond me.
It's a strange language.
The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs rise and run murmuring in the sea, and the treasure of your infinite depths would be revealed to your eyes. But let there be no scales to weigh your unknown treasure, and seek not the depths of your knowledge with staff or sounding line, for self is a sea, boundless and measureless. Say not, "I have found the truth," but rather, "I have found a truth." Say not, "I have found the path of the soul," say rather, "I have met the soul walking upon my path." For the soul walks upon all paths. The soul walks not upon a line, neither does it grow like a reed. The soul unfolds itself like a lotus of countless petals.
That's one of my favorites. that is so inspiring. That's been a huge influence to my life personally. Um, what I get out of that is there's a tendency for human beings to feel they've arrived. I have this knowledge, I'm complete, and we are always going to be works in progress, or ideally speaking, we're going to continue evolving, and that never ends. So you don't say, I found the truth, I found a truth, and that goes deeper and deeper and wider as you grow. Makes me think of our grandmother, Grandma Tippin. You know, in her 80s, she went back to school. She was always open to new experiences and new knowledge, and usually by that point people are pretty set in their ways. You know, they have the old phrase, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, and that to us is the antithesis, that just the opposite of what we are setting out to do. We want to expand, we want to grow, we want to evolve, and that just expresses
As people, you know, I completely respect that one day our overlords will be fish, but don't worry.
What else you got there?
Well, I've got quite a lot of them here, and I think I'll go to one of my personal favorites, Reason and Passion.
It's a really good one too.
And the priestess spoke again and said, Speak to us of reason and passion. And he answered, saying, Your soul is oftentimes a battlefield upon which your reason and your judgment wage war against your passion and your appetite. Would that I could be the peacemaker in your soul, that I might turn the discord and the rivalry of your whelments into oneness and melody. But how shall I, unless you yourselves be also the peacemakers, nay, the lovers of all your elements? Your reason and your passion are the rudder and the sails of your seafaring soul. If either your sails or rudder be broken, you can but toss and drift, or else be held at a standstill in mid-seas. For reason ruling alone is a force confining, and passion unattended is a flame that burns to its own destruction. Therefore let your soul exalt your reason to the height of passion, that it may sing, and let it direct your passion with reason, that your passion may live through its own daily resurrection, like the phoenix rise above its own ashes.
Man, that is good stuff. Musically speaking, there is a tendency for bands to want to be one or the other. They will be all passion or all reason. And our favorite bands were able to combine the balance. You know, you take a band like Soundgarden and they are just full on fury and blood, sweat, and tears, but there's intelligence to their music that tempers that energy in a focal point of directness.
I mean, their name is Soundgarden.
Yeah, right.
It's not like Death Robo Apocalypse 3 billion, you know?
Right.
Like when I first saw the name, I was like, pfft. And I saw the cover for King Animal and it looks all serene, and I said, pfft. But boy, was I wrong.
Yeah, the lyrics of a lot of these bands, you know, take Tool, the lyrics are very insightful, you know, and it's et cetera, et cetera. There's plenty of bands out there that combine passion and reason in a nice balance, and that's very inspiring to us. That's what we're kind of setting out to do as well in our own way. So, you know, speaking of self-knowledge, anyhow, you got one more for us there?
I believe I do.
Yeah.
All right, you tell me when.
Well, that's a pretty good one. Ooh, that's a good one. Talking.
And then a scholar said, Speak of talking, and he answered, saying, You talk when you cease to be at peace with your thoughts. And when you can no longer dwell in the solitude of your heart, you live in your lips, and sound is a diversion and a pastime. And much of your talking, thinking is half murdered. For thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wings, but cannot fly.
You need to repeat that line, because that
For thought is a bird of space that in a cage of words may indeed unfold its wings, but cannot fly.
Wow.
These are those among you who seek the talkative through fear of being. There are those among you who seek the talkative through fear of being alone. The silence of aloneness reveals to their eyes their naked selves, and they would escape. And there are those who talk, and without knowledge or forethought reveal a truth which they themselves do not understand. And there are those who have the truth within them, but they tell it not in words. I believe that's...
I think there was more to that.
There's a little bit more to it, but...
Yeah. That is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think anything needs to be said.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the moral of the story is don't do drugs, do insightful wisdom.
So yeah, anyhow, we want to recommend this book to you, and there's plenty more. There's a really beautiful chapter on children, on houses,
On beauty.
Beauty is another great chapter. I don't want to wreck all the surprises for you, so by all means check out The Prophet, and would love to hear some of your favorite excerpts from passages, yes. So thanks so much for watching, and we got some more good stuff coming up for you next week, and in the meantime, keep on rocking.